All right, everybody, welcome back to the 1% podcast. It has been far too long, so I do apologize. That's how long it's been. Um, Honestly, I just wanted to jump back and get amazing people back on the podcast to obviously inspire, tell the truth behind things, and that's exactly what we're doing today. So I am excited to have Danai on the podcast. How you doing, my love?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I know that you
Mhm.
are. We did mess up the dates. I was like, yeah, next week, and then you're leaving next week, right, to the US.
Yes, yes, I'm leaving on Tuesday. So,
So,
yeah, I'll be in the States next week. Yeah.
nice. And what show are you doing in the US and things like that? What's give me a rundown. What's going on in the US for you?
Well, we're starting with the show is a while away still, so it's 3.5 weeks out now.
Nice.
First one is in Washington, Tangi Pro. And then we've got a few lined up, depending on how they all go. Texas, Chicago, and
Okay.
we'll see what else. So
Amazing.
I don't know how long I'll be away for. We'll see.
Amazing. That's awesome. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back a little bit. So
Hmm.
then everyone can work out, okay, now this is what the fuck she does, right?
Yeah.
So I guess for me, because I actually don't really know you at all, um,
Hmm.
I guess give me an insight in, well, what do I need to know about you to the woman that you are today? So like, what was upbringing like? Like what, like, guess high school,
Well,
like what was family life like?
yeah, first of all, I grew up in Greece, not in Australia. I moved here when I was 16 with my family. So my upbringing was completely different, nothing to do with, I mean, I was always into sports, but I was leaning more towards arts. So I used to draw a lot, at some point I started doing tattoos. I was into music. I've always loved sports, but I never thought it'd be, what I'd actually follow.
Hmm.
Um, then I moved here. I was just training at the gym like most people do, like a regular person. And I just slowly got into bodybuilding, did my first show just for fun. And I started doing better than I thought I would. So, from one show to the next, pro card. Then COVID hit, so took a couple of years off, which worked out because I needed to grow anyway. And then I started competing as a pro, and here we are, Olympia.
And
Yeah,
you're doing all right. It's nice to say that you're doing
I'm
okay.
doing okay. Look, I still don't think that it's really, you know, hit me like how far I've taken it. It's
Mm,
still like usually like another preparation for me. So until I actually get to the shows, um, it doesn't really hit home. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I guess like what
Yeah.
moving abroad at 16 is quite a hard thing to do because like 16 is a vulnerable age. Like
Yeah.
you kind of built a life when you're 16.
One
How
hundred
was
percent.
how was the transition? Because it's like I guess like even the language like language barrier. I don't know if did you speak English?
So
Like
yeah, we do learn English in Greece, but not obviously not like our first language. But moving was difficult. It was very difficult because of the age. 16, I already had my life in Greece. I had my
mm,
friends, first relationship. So it was very difficult coming here. I didn't want to move.
yeah.
I was kind of forced, if I'm honest. um, and just school was completely different here. Just the whole like lifestyle was different here. I didn't have any friends, so I turned into training even more. I guess maybe
Mm,
that's how I ended up following that. It was like what would take my mind off the problems that I had at the time as a teenager.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it wasn't a great experience at the time, but I think um well my parents ended up moving back to Greece, and that's I didn't want to
Yeah,
move back after a while because I got used to it here.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I
Damn.
did end up moving with them for a year. I started studying in Greece, and then I just came back to Australia because I just wasn't happy there.
It's such a weird thing, isn't it? Because everyone kind of gets into, I say that it's like you say, going to the gym at 16 to kind of 22 type of thing. Like everyone kind of
Yeah,
jumps into the gym for the same reason. Like it's a lot of it is the, like you say, it could be loneliness, it could be insecurities. Like everyone starts, I think, going to the gym for a damaged reason. And
yeah, yeah, true.
I kind of I say this all the time. I'm like, the gym has just given me everything. Like I never thought like I would
Yeah.
be doing this as a career. I didn't fucking want to do this.
Of
Like,
course, I think for everyone for different reasons. For me, it was more like a coping mechanism, I guess. Like,
yeah,
it was just something that was giving me more confidence. It was something that was, I guess, killing time too. And I like that was my social time too. Because when I came here, I was a little bit uncomfortable because like you said, I was the Greek girl in between all the Aussies. So I wasn't, even though like I had friends in school, I made friends in school, I was just never super comfortable. But the gym has always been a place I was comfortable in because I was just familiar with it.
yeah,
um
100%.
yeah.
When did you go to university? Because at 16, you've done high school at 16, right? Even in Greece, type of thing. Did you go to
Yeah.
university? Because like you said, you kind of started to study again, but
So I did year 11 and 12 here in Australia.
okay,
And then I moved back to Greece and I got into uni over there because I stayed there for a year.
yeah,
And I studied, but I stopped within like a few months. I came back to Australia.
yeah, sick, yeah. I think everyone I speak to, or pretty much most of the people on the podcast, has dropped out of uni, so it's so
Yeah.
good. And then
Yeah.
when was I guess when was the moment you took training seriously? I think because obviously everyone does their first show and it's kind of like I just want to do it to kind of experience it. When did that number one, what was your first show? And then when was that moment where you're like the hook, like you're hooked now?
Yeah. Okay. Well, my first show was with a different federation. It wasn't with IFBB. I started with PCA. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, so I competed with PCA, did a national show. Then we went overseas to compete to represent Australia. We went to London.
yeah.
And then that's when I switched to IFBB. I think after I got my pro card, I was still doing it for fun, I guess. I'd say I took it more seriously when I started competing as a pro. So when I was preparing for my pro debut, because there was a lot of, investment as well involved and a lot of traveling involved. So I took it more seriously, and I started meeting a lot of people, networking, and that's when I realized that I maybe had more potential than I believed I did, because I was talking to people, and um, they made me realize I never saw myself as
Yeah.
other people saw me. Um, and that's when I started taking it more seriously, I guess. Yeah,
Sick. I didn't know PCA was in Australia. That's pretty good. I didn't know that was
it's
there.
not very big here, but yeah, I think that's why I started with
Yeah.
it.
But that's the
Yeah,
best way.
smaller.
Like everyone does it.
Yeah,
I remember like I think I did PCA for like my second show, and everyone does it. Everyone does like a Miami Pro, or they do a WBFF, or they do something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
everyone just kind of eventually, if you take it seriously, you naturally, I think the only course is to do NPC and then obviously IFBB.
Of course, yeah,
It's the
one
only
hundred
route to actually
percent.
to kind of be, so it's the only
To make a
legit way.
career out of it, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And when did you, so obviously you did NPC. When did you turn pro? Like, because obviously you have to do your regional in, I'm guessing you did that in Australia, right?
Yeah, yeah. In
Yeah.
Melbourne, I did the stage show here. And then the nationals, that's when I got my pro card.
Oh, okay. So you actually got it in Australia.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's quite impressive. I know, obviously, if anyone doesn't know, like Australia is quite brutal. They give out what two pro cards a year, technically, in
A
season
year,
A. On
yeah.
yeah. yeah, so they literally give out two pro cards a year. So obviously there'll only be two wellness pro cards a year.
Yeah.
Compared to the US where there's one every weekend and they'll give it out to the top two or the top three or whatever it is. So
Yeah,
so
it's
there's a
crazy.
I think there's a big difference when you see, especially Europeans and like anyone from like Asia, Australia, when you turn pro, like probably like for you, like you're already at a decent pro caliber type of thing. Because the reality is to turn pro, you actually have to be really fucking good. You have to be a very good amateur. That's the
Yeah, yeah,
difference.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess so. The thing is, with my division, it was when the division had started. So now it's evolved a lot since, you know. So
Yeah,
I mean, at the time, I was the quality they were looking for, but the quality has
yeah,
improved now, you know, because it was a new division. There's a lot more athletes now, and it keeps evolving. It's growing so quickly that even the amateurs now are looking way better, you know.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, at the time, I think that's also why I hadn't tried NPC before, because there wasn't wellness division at the time, and
True.
I didn't fit into bikini. I also didn't really fit or wanted to do figure either. And PCA had an in between division that called bikini trains, like a fitness kind of division.
Yeah.
That's why as soon as wellness came out, I jumped into it.
Nice. What year did you turn pro?
um, I think it was 2021, if I'm not
Okay.
wrong.
Okay, yeah.
It was
Yeah,
when
that makes
when
sense.
COVID started.
Oh, okay, so yeah, 2021. Yeah, COVID is 20, yeah, it was 2 years, wasn't it? COVID pretty much. It was 2 years really.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially in
So it
Melbourne, it
was it was
was
during COVID actually when I competed. We were in and out of lockdowns here in Melbourne because in
oh
Victoria
man,
we had all those lockdowns. I think I did most of the prep training out of a garage gym.
that's awesome.
It was
Jesus.
hectic.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I remember even because I was in the UK for the first lockdown and literally all it was
Mm,
on the news, all just Melbourne was on the news all the time. And everyone was like,
yeah. It
fuck, we're
was
not there.
hectic.
Like it was insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play, fair play. That's I know like it feels like a lifetime ago, like saying like you're just locked in your house,
I
but
know.
like there
It
is
feels,
like
yeah.
I was like honestly the resilience that it takes to I think that the worst thing is when you're in prep, like you'll know this, especially in COVID, like you're prepping for something you don't even know is going to happen. Like you don't
Mm,
know if the show's going to go ahead. So it's just like the
yeah.
I remember seeing so many people being like, yeah, not happening. Like prep for 20 weeks and now you're trying to extend it to 22 weeks, 24 weeks, the hope of just a show. And just the resilience of that is phenomenal. So that's fucking awesome, love. That's insane. Yeah, well done. Fair play.
Yeah. That was tough. That was very tough, to be honest. The temptations were even more, tempting.
Yeah,
um, And I remember before the stage show, we had a lockdown like 10 days before. For a couple of days, they locked us
mm,
down again. And it was so like, we were 1 week out, and I was like, what am I even doing? You know what? Like, there's no way
yeah,
we'll be able to compete next weekend,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know? Because every lockdown we had here in Victoria, they were saying 2 days, 3 days, and they would end up making it like 2, 3 months. So, you just never knew, we never knew how long the lockdown would be.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, thankfully
Fair play.
yeah.
Damn. And then when did you do your so obviously you turned pro. Did you take you said you grew for a little bit because obviously then that was the lockdown. You said you took some time
Yeah,
to
we went
grow.
back to lockdown. And I think I took a full year of
Nice.
as in off season.
Yeah,
So I competed like 18 months later.
okay, nice.
Mm.
And where was that? Was that in the US?
No, my first shows were in Europe. I did Prague
Oh
and
yeah.
I did the Prague show in Romania where I met you guys last year.
Yeah.
Um, and then I didn't qualify. I got second place
Yeah.
in Prague. In Romania, I didn't place very well. I got seventh. And then I went to watch the Olympia in Vegas just to watch
Okay.
it, just to envision, and I told myself I'll be here next year. And it happened.
Damn. When was it? When was What was your pro qualifier? Where was that?
The pro qualifier or the
Yeah, wait,
Olympia qualifier.
yeah.
So I did the Chicago Pro in 2023. I
Okay.
won that. That was my first qualification.
Yeah.
And then last year I qualified in Europe. So I won the Flex Weekend in Italy.
Okay, nice. Yeah, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think it's always because we were actually talking about this yesterday, like me and Stefan saying like we were saying how apparently there's already like 55 girls qualified for bikini or something ridiculous already for the Olympia.
Yeah,
I guess
crazy.
like I always imagine because I used to be like a professional athlete in a previous sport, so I can always imagine it going to the Olympia, like going to your world championships. That's pretty much what it is. It's going to the Olympics of bodybuilding. Like generally, like I think what is that? Like you said earlier, it's kind of like nothing's really sunk in sometimes, the reality of it all. But like, what was that? I'm gonna go, what was your first pro win? Like, what was the moments that kind of went through? How was the prep and like what went through kind of your mindset of just qualifying for the
I'll tell
Olympia
you
for that
what, I
first?
think my first preparation for the Olympia, I was very like relaxed. I was the most relaxed I've ever been because I guess, going into the pro shows, you try your hardest to win, and you do have that at the back of your mind, I want to win. But going into the Olympia, obviously I didn't expect to win. So
Yeah.
I just went into it relaxed. I was already like feeling accomplished that I'm even just for being there, you know what I mean? And it was actually the best prep mentally, the best prep I've
Mm.
had and enjoyed the most in 2023. I'd say last year it was a little bit more difficult, not so much mentally. I just felt a little bit burnt out physically because it's been a while now that I've been, on back to back preps,
Yeah.
and for most of the year, majority of the year, I'm in prep. So I feel like last year it hit me a little bit harder because there was a
Mm.
lot of travel. I did a lot of shows last year too. So there was so much travel, um, which is very stressful, as you know. When you're competing from Australia, especially so far away,
Yeah.
it was very stressful. And for some reason, all my flights, like something went wrong with all my flights, every
Yeah.
single one of them. So there was just added stress when I got back. Obviously, I had qualified. I was happy, but I only had say like 2 3 weeks break before I went back
Okay.
into prep for the Olympia. So I was quite drained by that point.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet.
but it was obviously like it's mixed emotions, you're happy to be there, you're grateful, but also you're just tired.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
bet. Yeah. By that point, 100%. Yeah. What was
yeah.
because have you done, were they both in Vegas or was one in Orlando?
One was in Orlando. 2023 was Orlando, and then 2024 was Vegas.
Yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, yeah. What was everyone always has this opinion, which was your favorite? You can do the whole thing from like everything from like the backstage, probably from
Yeah.
everything from the experience, the whole thing. Which was your favorite?
Look, I love Vegas. Even from the year that I went to watch the Olympia, it was in Vegas again, and I had the time of my life in Vegas. And I don't know, it's last year too. I really love Vegas. So post show was a very good experience as well. I had a
True.
couple of people that from Australia that I caught up with, and we had a lot of fun. And Orlando was not really like that. It was a little bit there was nothing open afterwards to
True.
celebrate. But as the organization, um, I'd say 2024 was better. It was the 60th anniversary, so
True.
it was a little bit like over the top, which is like in a
Yeah.
good way. So everything was just, extra.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it,
100%.
you felt like, okay, I'm at the top of this sport. Like you could feel that from every single, like from the environment, from the clothing they gave us, from everything, the stage,
Yeah.
the the backdrop, the background, everything.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, because it was 2020. I always get confused. Yeah, 20. When was it? October? No,
October, yes.
October. Yeah, yeah. I remember like literally just because obviously it was so fucking late here watching it. I remember just watching. And I was just like, it just
Yeah,
looked so. It did look very special. It did look very special. Like you
yeah,
could kind of see it from like obviously you can't know the ins and outs, but even seeing people on stage, it looked like they were proud to be there, 100%. Because I think it's like
100%. Yeah.
because I think Orlando's like as cool as it is, it's not the OG, it's not the GOAT kind of thing. Like
Yeah, no, no.
they,
Vegas is just it hits different, you know.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
And fast forward, I guess like how's prep going? Like how's this? Because when did you start prep for this? Because obviously you're going to qualify for this Olympia.
I'm
Or
hoping.
yeah, it's good, 100%.
Fingers crossed. So I started in March.
That's
And I don't usually do very long preps because I'm always in prep. So I make them as short as I possibly can.
yeah,
Because they do last for a while. Like my first show will be end of June, but I may be competing for 2 months straight. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
um the prep will be extended. Yeah, we started in March and here we are 3 weeks out now.
It's always weird because I know every prep is very different. Like
Hmm.
like, what have you learned this prep? Like what's been different this prep? Maybe like something you've learned about yourself in this prep, or maybe something training wise. Like what's been different this prep than maybe others?
Yeah, so the major difference this prep that um it's made a big difference to how I physically feel and my body responding as well. Is just backing off the training a fair bit. You know, I've always been the one to overdo it,
Yeah,
like overtrain, always thinking I'm not doing enough or I'm not training hard enough, so I'll always kill myself. Um, whereas this prep, I've prioritized recovery a lot more. And that was, to be honest with you, that wasn't by choice at the start. I just had a couple of injuries before I even started the prep, and I had no choice. I had to prioritize recovery and take it, not, I don't want to say easier, just drop the volume, I guess, a lot,
yeah,
and just not do junk volume with my training, be a little bit more mindful, just prioritize recovery
yeah,
overall, and it's worked so much better for me this time.
yeah. It's funny, isn't it, you say that because like I feel like that's an age and experience thing. Like when you're
Hmm.
younger, you just like you'll fucking drill yourself into the ground and
Yeah, yeah. And you're
100%.
fine.
Yeah. And but also I think you have to do it. You have to know what like
Yeah,
in a sense, like you should be so depleted and fucked that you truly know that like the difference as well. Because like I there's always that thing where like at the end of the day, they are very big now on especially as like I don't know the criteria as well as you, of course, but like the wellness conditioning and conditioning in general throughout all classes is very different now. Like they generally, if you're
yeah,
not conditioned, like you're not, that's it. It's kind of game over, to be
of
honest.
course. Well,
But
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I'd say in the wellness division, um, it's a little bit trickier the balance they're looking for conditioning and fullness and um and muscularity wise is I find is the hardest one to pick. Um, because they obviously want you to be very lean, but they don't want to see striations. They want to see fullness. So
yeah,
it's a very difficult balance to nail.
yeah,
I've yet to nail it. I also they're changing every year. It's kind of changing. The
yeah,
standard is changing. The criteria is changing a little bit, but I feel like it's the first time that I have a perfect understanding of what they're actually looking for.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, that always happens with new divisions, though, I guess. So it's kind of normal.
Yeah, 100%. Like you say, it's I think a big one is just the pure reps and experience that you've had as well. Like every prep, like, oh, like that was too much or that wasn't enough, vice
Mm,
versa. And definitely, like when you say sometimes, like when you're, it's not like you said it's easier, but it's not that it's easier. It's like you're doing less but better. Like every time you're doing things, but it's better quality. So like even if it's just like you're training like 5 years ago versus today, like you train every rep, every set
Yeah.
with pure accuracy and intent. That and then it's vice versa. And then you can be like, well, actually, like because the accuracy and intent is so much better on every rep and set, I don't need to do that extra day or I don't need to do an extra set type of thing because the quality does
Yeah.
outweigh it. And then your body thanks you, like you say, like you're just like you're fresh, you feel good, you look poppier, things like that.
For sure.
That's
And from nature as bodybuilders, we always we go for we love suffering for some reason, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I think that was another part. Like in my head, it was normal that I was feeling like death, it was normal that I was not able to walk or not able to get out of bed. Whereas this prep, don't get me wrong, I'm tired, I'm hungry, but it's nowhere near what I was feeling, in the past.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And then that's that psychological battle. You're like, should I be feeling worse? Like I'm 3 weeks out, should I be
Yeah,
feeling more
that's
shit?
also, yeah, that's another part of it. But I think, also in time you realize you know what to look at. Even when we do our own check-ins, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
start to see the difference between a tired physique and a fresh physique. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Because
Yeah.
I saw it was one of your girls actually, because she was training in Ashmore. Um, and she did the Gold Coast show. She did, didn't she? Yeah,
Yes, Maria.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember I think I saw her in your stories, and then literally I saw her in the gym like maybe 2 days later or something like that. And I was like, holy fuck, like that girl was, yeah, honestly, like fair play from a coach. That was insane. She
Yeah,
looks
thank
absolutely
you.
amazing.
And she's
Um,
only 21. It's crazy.
That's the thing though, isn't it? You look at them, you're like, but that, like you say, the caliber now of people growing up, like 21, I wasn't even training properly. Like I wasn't even in a
Yeah.
gym. And I was
Yeah.
like, and then you see 21-year-olds and I'm like, Jesus, like if you just love this and you stay in your own lane almost for another 5, 10 years, like you're set.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Um, Something that obviously like your physique, obviously many, like you say, every young 21-year-old woman or women in general would probably just fucking want exactly what you have, right? Physique wise. What is training and everything been looking like recently? Like how's your split been? Because obviously everyone wants to know that. Like you say, your training volume. What does that all look like at the moment?
Look, obviously in wellness, we do a lot of lower body.
Yeah.
And I think most of us wellness girls, we d- we don't really grow our upper body, kind of like grows by training legs.
Yeah, it's
I,
true.
I I find that personally, if you train your lower body hard and heavy, everything, your whole body engages and it kind of grows enough. If anything, a lot of us in the wellness division, we try to downsize our upper bodies, So my split is a four day lower body and one day just a bit of a shoulder pump. That's it.
Yeah,
Um, so a lot of and like I said, that's another reason why it's smarter to do less volume because doing legs almost every single day is just a lot. It's a lot on your nervous system,
yeah, God,
to
yeah.
recover from each session. Yeah,
Yeah, I do legs once. And I'm like, obviously it's very different, but like I do once and I'm like, I'm fucked for like a week. So like when I see like
yeah,
bikini and wellness, I'm like, how the fuck do you do it? But like you say, it's like everything is so unique and tailored to that. Like obviously I'm guessing like what is your split? So obviously you probably have like more glute focus, then a bit more kind of overall legs. How does that look
yeah.
broken up into that?
So on Monday I do glutes on their own. Tuesday I just do a little bit of shoulders, and then Wednesday I do a bit of full legs, but mostly it's a quad based day.
Yeah,
Um, Thursday I have a rest day. Friday I do glutes again, and then Saturday I do quads, hamstrings, and then I rest on Sunday. So a lot of
nice.
legs.
Yeah,
Um, and another thing that I've changed and used to do a lot, I was big on supersets, drop sets, all that stuff. And now I just do, just normal sets, just push the sets hard enough and that's it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
in saying that, it depends on the athlete. For example, if I have someone that I know they don't push the intensity 100%, then those type of athletes would benefit from doing more supersets or more drop sets, because it's an easier way for them to reach, like, get closer to failure.
Yeah,
Um, not many, especially females, not many females know how to get to true failure within 8 to 10 rep set. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You have
yeah,
to, like, really push the weight and yourself to get there.
yeah, gotcha.
So
I think that's honestly in general, it's that weird one. It's like, how do you teach intensity? It's a really hard thing because it's like one of those ones where I'm like, obviously, I guess like so I think your girl came to Melbourne to train with you, right? That's
yeah,
probably one of the only ways like you can actually get hands on and be like, why did you stop? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like there's so much more in the tank there, and it is a
of course,
mentality.
yeah.
It is a mentality thing. It's like purely mentality. And like you say, like, how do you just go straight in for like for you, like legs, you're probably, I don't know, you could be doing like a lunge that's fucking like 80 kilos. Do you know what I mean? So like how do you go straight into 80 kilos? Do you go straight into 80 kilos? Like probably not. So
Oh,
like you
no,
would
no,
probably
no.
build up to it. Exactly. Yeah, you'd build up to it
Yeah.
type of thing. But many would be like, yep, straight in and just so like to
Oh,
teach that kind of process it is very hard. And I think that's the biggest thing that I see. It's just purely intensity. Like honestly, it's kind of one of those
yeah.
ones where it doesn't kind of matter what the fuck you do, as long as it's intent, you'll probably see a greater
For
result.
sure. Yeah. Like, any training program can make you make progress, as long as you push it hard enough. Obviously, like, depending on what you need to bring up, like the body parts that you need to bring up, or what division you're competing in, that's how you'd create your split. But in terms of, there's no, like, magic exercise, or, like, if you ask me, I do very basic exercises, leg press, yeah, extensions, lunges, hip thrust. I don't do any crazy, like, weird stuff at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
Instagram shit. Things when you see it on
yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, I
Yeah, no,
know.
no, that's
I know,
awesome, man.
but I think to learn that type of intensity, you have to be shown, really. You have to be taken there by someone, um, because you need to train yourself hard, to push yourself that hard. You need to
Yeah,
be taken to that place at least the first few times.
yeah. Have you trained with many, obviously, because you've obviously had the ability to network and stuff like that. Have you trained with anyone that's changed things for you dramatically? Like you've really like opened your eyes up to training or maybe just like conversations you've had?
um I'd say majority of the things I've learned, unfortunately, have come from trial and error,
Yeah,
and just messing it up myself, and,
good.
like, figuring out what actually works best for me. Um, like I said, even up until last year, I got to a point where I couldn't move. I'd get out of bed and I'd be like, I feel like I'm 80 years old. And that was
Yeah,
overtraining. My body was just burnt out. And that's how I learn.
yeah. Honestly, like
um,
you should just repeat that because I just honestly
yeah,
I think like what I see nowadays is just I guess open-mindedness just to like just fucking try it. Like that's the thing. It's like you'll know this from being a coach as well. They're like, is my foot at the right position or is this at the right position? Where do I extra? I'm like,
yeah,
I try it. Does it feel good? Like if it feels good, do it. Like it's one of those weird ones. It's like you can't teach a lot of this stuff. Like I remember just watching YouTube
yeah,
videos and be like, I'm gonna try that and try it. And then you spend years being like, didn't really get anywhere. But and then
yeah,
you start finding out like what formula works for you. So yeah, like
yeah,
that's the best way you could
yeah,
have
for
said that.
sure.
Because I bet
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because I bet your coaches are you coach this prep or are you doing it yourself?
Yes, I'm being coached. No.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Sounds like a really silly
No.
question, doesn't it? But like
Yeah.
I can't ever imagine coaching myself, but some people do it. I'm like, fair play, like fucking I couldn't do it. But
Mm,
yeah, no, it's cool. But it's the same. It's like your coach is probably not being like, they don't need to teach you obviously you're a different caliber, but it's not like they're teaching you training at that point. Like
Yeah,
you found out your method and you build that relationship where you're like, this really works for me. I'm going to do this. These food sources really
of
work for
course.
me.
Yeah,
And it's just that
yeah,
relationship that you build.
100%. I think it's important to like be open-minded and take advice. Obviously, for me, I've always done my own training, but at the same time, I've always been open to, if my coach tell me maybe let's try that instead, I'd do that. You know what I mean? But I do enjoy the way I train, and I think when it comes to training, especially doing it the way you enjoy is what's gonna make you push harder.
Yeah.
So even though there's an optimal and ideal way, at the end of the day, what you enjoy is probably the most optimal, because that's how you're gonna push yourself the most.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why I've always liked doing my own training. And like I said, just take advice here and there.
Yeah.
Um, but yes,
But you
and
said it
that's
perfect.
it. That's the advice I'd give everyone for those who know how to train, though that know the fundamentals.
Yeah. Yeah. I think once you've got the fundamentals, I think as soon as you learn how to do, I don't even know, like even if you just learn how to hinge, like if you learn how to do like an
Yeah,
RDL, if you learn how to kind of do a squat, sort of like if you learn those basic mechanics, I think from there you're pretty good to go. Because like if I
yeah,
talk about it
yeah.
from like even like a leg extension, I'm like your knee only does this, so like there's it's not fucking complicated. Like
Mm-hmm.
and like you say, it's just I think that's the thing that obviously I'm like probably for you as well. Like your job is social media now, and which is kind of shit, I think, but it's kind of necessary. But it's the same sort of
Yeah,
thing. You see things people being like, "This is the most optimal way," and I'm like, I get why you're saying it, and it makes sense. But like optimal is generally like whoever can do it at the longest, the best will win, and that is
that's
different for
right.
everyone. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
me training glutes 4 times a week like you do, like I'd fucking probably have my lower back would probably snap off. You know what I mean? Like, because I
And I'll tell
don't know.
you one of the best. I can't remember where I heard that, but it was the best way to put it. How much training or volume should I do? And the answer was as much as you can recover from. And everyone's different. And
Yeah,
also you got to take into consideration, for example, for me, all I really do physically throughout my day is training, right? So I've got the rest of the day to rest and recover. If you take someone that is doing a very physical job, they wouldn't recover from the same amount of volume I do or the same
yeah,
frequency I do. Maybe they'd have to train 4 times a week instead of five. You know what I mean? Because if you can't recover from your training, then there's no point. You're
yeah,
not growing. You're not making
yeah,
progress.
yeah, 100%, my love. Like you could, I think it's one of those ones where you can like, there's always that whole debate with like what's optimal science and all this sort of stuff nowadays. And the reality is, it's like just there's too much overthinking. Like you say, like
100%.
there's just
What's optimal for you may not be optimal for me.
yeah,
And it's the same with nutrition. And that's why I tell clients as well, not different. I'm not talking about like top high level athletes that we're like
yeah,
robots and we can, if the coach told us eat like dirt, we'll eat dirt, you know what I mean? But like for majority of people, especially lifestyle clients, there's no perfect diet. The perfect diet is the one they can stick to. And if
yeah,
that means they have something naughty in there, calculated and fit into their macros, then so be it.
yeah,
It's not a big
exactly.
deal.
Yeah, exactly. Love. That leads
Yeah.
me on perfectly. How's your diet been looking? Like honestly, like 3 weeks out from a pro show, like what does that diet look like for you at the moment and things like that? Are you on a meal plan? Do you do like a macro approach? Like what do you do?
I'm on a meal plan, and this time around, my food is a lot higher than it usually is at 3 weeks out. Usually, I have to really suffer.
Mm,
um, And this time, thankfully, I mean, my calories are still low, probably about 12 to 1400, depending
yep.
on what I'm training or if I'm training. But usually they're under 1,000, so
Yeah. Yeah, no,
so
it's
I'll
cool.
take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Um, well, I like very basic diet. To be honest, I like I don't like being really, really food focused, so I'd never try to make my meals, you know, really crazy or
Yeah.
just simple, basic. Sometimes I hate I hate spicy. That's a weird mentality. I hate spicy in general, but
Oh yeah, I fucking hate it.
I use it I use a very low calorie spicy sauce on my food because it makes me
Yeah.
slow down. You
Yeah, yeah,
know,
that's fair. Yeah.
because I don't like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, so, for me, it's very important. It helps me stick to my plan if I detach from my food emotionally and I see
Yeah.
it purely as it's just a meal, rather than
Yeah.
I really enjoy this meal.
Yeah.
Um, so that just helps me when the food is really low. In my office is completely different, but
Of course,
um,
yeah.
right
I
now
think
it just,
I think that's the most, you just said it then. I think emotionally disconnecting from, honestly, everything in prep is probably the best thing you can do.
yeah,
Like emotionally disconnecting from, like you say, you do a check-in one day, 2 days later you check in, you're like, oh fuck, like it doesn't look as good. But like at the end of the day, you don't need
yeah,
to look good tomorrow. You don't need to look good next week. You need to look good in 3 weeks' time. So what does it matter if you what you
that's
look like
right.
tomorrow? So it's that weird thing of like the same thing when you emotionally disconnect from food. Like you're like, cool, it's only for another 2 months. Do you know what I mean? It's like this
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
and it's one of those weird ones where I'm like, it's all optional. Like it's up to you. Like,
that's right. That's right.
and you kind of see it for like the biggest one that like is that you say like sometimes you have to go below 1,000 calories, and people are like, oh no, like people are almost proud that you don't have to. I'm like, actually, like you have to do what's required. Like that's just it at the end of the day.
Some
Like,
people have to, yeah. But in saying that, I don't do cardio, so I just do
yeah, sick.
like 10,000 steps a day, um, and that's
Yeah,
it. Cardio doesn't work for me, so that's why I have to push the food lower. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
um,
But that's
everyone is different. There's
yeah,
people I know bikini girls that eat a lot more than me, but
yeah,
double what I eat. And they still get in condition, no problems. But it is what it is. Everyone's body is different.
yeah, exactly that. How many meals do you have a day? Are you on 5 or 6? How is it broken up to at the moment?
5 meals. They're pretty
Yeah,
basic, like eggs, chicken, beef,
yeah,
a little bit of oats here and there, a little bit of fruit here and there.
yeah,
Lots of
100%. Yeah,
vegetables, lots
yeah,
of salads, and that's about it, really, for
yeah.
now.
It's one of those weird ones where
And
I'm
lots
trying
of
to,
coffee.
yeah, lots of coffee. At least you like coffee. I met someone the other day and they were like, oh,
I
I
love
can't do
coffee.
coffee. And they were like, I can't do coffee. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do coffee? I think that's like I feel like
I
there's
think
two,
I wouldn't
go on.
survive prep without coffee.
No, I think
Sorry.
there's two, I think, okay, you might not like it, but there's two things I think with bodybuilding or fitness. If you don't like coffee and sushi, you're weird.
I agree.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know, sushi or burger or whatever. I could eat anything, honestly. I'm very
Yeah,
easy when it comes to food. And I think that's come from being hungry. I'm not a picky eater anymore. I used to
yeah,
be. Um, but I'm not. Like I could literally, if you tell me, let's go out for a meal, for a cheat meal, what would you like to have? I'd say, I really don't know. I can't choose.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
I'd be happy with anything.
Yeah, I think the only
Yeah.
reason I would choose is to make the decision faster for the group.
Yeah. And I'd be like, oh, whatever, I'm easy. I'm down.
Yeah, exactly. Um, with because obviously, like with when I do have to speak to you like you are on a different level because you are on a different level from a sporting aspect. So like you've obviously competed at the Olympia twice and things like that. Like there's obviously a lot of mindset stuff behind it, right? How you speak to yourself every day, like the general battles you have in your head, which is every day. Like I
Yeah.
know what it is like in prep and stuff like that. Like does it feel different this time? Do you feel like there's a standard that you have now going into obviously these shows and stuff like that? Like obviously because you're known now like on a judge, like people will look at you judges and be like, oh, I know her and stuff like that. Does it it's like you say, the first pro show you do, like I don't fucking care. No one knows me. I'm just gonna bring my
Yeah.
best. And how does it feel this time? Like how's everything been from behind the scenes of your mind and stuff like that? Like how do you feel?
Glad you're asking that because it's a very interesting topic, I think, for people to know because I think people think that because we're pro athletes or we compete at a very high level, we don't have a normal life and we don't have life problems, and life doesn't hit us. Like we still have every problem every normal person has. We just have to like deal with it, I guess. And for me, there's just things that are non-negotiables now. There's doesn't matter what happens in my life. It doesn't mean that I have control over what I eat or whether I show up or not. I may not be in my best mood, but there's things that I will do regardless, and I think that's what's helped me. Just seeing it as going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever happens, people will still go to work. It's something you don't have the choice, but you got to do it. So that's the main thing that's helped me get through, times that have been challenging whilst I'm in prep.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously now being a little bit more in the scene, in terms of judges or people, there's more pressure to, you know, um,
To almost
bring,
to deliver
yeah,
in a sense.
to
Yeah.
deliver,
Yeah.
exactly, to deliver, and not only deliver but also progress and be better every time. Um, because there's one thing, reaching reaching at a high level is one thing, but staying there is harder. And it's more pressure because you
Yeah.
you set a standard for yourself. Once you reach that, that's your standard, that becomes your standard. So
Yeah.
that's why I said to you, first Olympia, I was going in, I didn't care. I didn't know what to expect. Obviously I was trying to bring my best, but I had zero expectations, whereas now, you know qualifying is my like I have to. you know
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
head I'm
No.
like I have to.
Yeah.
um Obviously you never know what happens, because you like I said, the quality is getting better and better, and you never know who shows up on the shows you're doing. um but yeah, I think the more you compete at a higher level, the more pressure you start putting on yourself. Your expectations of yourself are higher. um and it just, yeah, it becomes a little bit more, I guess. It takes a little bit of the fun out of it. I don't want to say that, but
Yeah.
it's also true. you
Yeah. Yeah.
know
Yeah.
you don't see it as a hobby anymore. Don't get me wrong, it's still a passion, if anything, more than ever. I have all the passion and drive for it, and like the fire in my tummy, but I also have the most pressure I've ever had, like within myself.
Yeah.
um yeah.
No, it's good. It is good because like it's weird because bodybuilding itself doesn't put money in your pocket to the extent, right? Like obviously you'll have sponsors and stuff like that, but in the day, what
Yeah.
earns you money is like your coaching and all these different things. And actually
Yeah.
people investing into you because they love you and they trust you as a human being.
Hmm.
But it's weird, this kind of, like you say that now, like everyone's like, if no one knows you, they just see her, oh, she's been to the Olympia types. Like, why did she not qualify this year or that year? Like what's happened, like things like that. People will always compare you to your best, and you'll always compare yourself to your
Yeah.
best. And you think actually, like, I should be able to bring this every single time, no matter what. And then that like level of like, I don't know, it's an amazing trait because that's the reason you are where you are, right? But it's like that, it's kind of like your kryptonite at the same sort of time.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it's like yeah, it honestly is such a mind fuck. Like it really is like, but I think like the biggest thing, like you say, like if you can just stay, I heard this really nice quote the other day, and it was someone saying like, I just want to be happy. And I was like, yeah, like don't we all kind of thing. I just want to be happy. And then
Mhm.
someone replied being like, we should hunt for peace. So instead of always hunting for happiness, always just aim to be peaceful. Because always trying to be
For
happy is
sure.
near
Yeah.
impossible. But like if you can kind of stay peaceful and you can enjoy every second of what you do and you can go into these shows and just think almost with your head held high, being like, this is, I've done everything I could. The cards were against me on this
Of
rep,
course.
or they were with me. Who knows? Like you
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
like like you're a normal woman, right? You have lifestyle things as well. You have relationships, you have family, you have all these different things in your life. You'll have financial stresses and worries like anyone else. So it's like there's different things you have to fight. And I think some people overlook that when they just see you or anyone at that level, they overlook everything. They just see a body and they
Yeah,
think,
because people identify you as that, like people, they only see what they see on social media, what they see, for example, Deny the wellness girl, the IFBB pro, whatever, they don't see Deny the person behind that, So um that's and that's also that's normal. I'm not saying it's not.
hmm,
That's why people follow you. That's they
of
follow that
course.
part of your journey. But that doesn't mean that that's all there is, just people don't know the rest of you.
Yeah, exactly.
um, but yes, like you said, I think it's very important to try and remain peaceful for the most part. There's days that you can't help it, obviously, and I think it's normal to have those days for all of us. That we feel a little bit more negative or a little bit more stressed, or put a little bit more pressure on ourselves, but
Yeah.
um, I think as long as you know that you're doing your best every day, then you go in with confidence and whatever
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think? It's a bit of a deep question, but like, what do you think defines you? Because, like you say, like,
That's
because like I would say, like you say, people always think, oh, like that's the wellness girl, that's the Olympian, and things like that. Like, do you see yourself like that? Like, how do you see you?
look, I think big part of my identity is that, but I'd say maybe like 60%
Yeah.
is that at the moment. I don't think it will always be like that.
Mm,
Obviously now this is taking a big chunk of my life and my everyday life, so
good.
it's inevitable not to be
Yeah.
like big part of my identity at the same time, but it's definitely not the only thing about
Yeah.
me.
I
Yeah,
think
no, I do. Yeah.
no, I love it. No, I sorry I interrupted you, but I think it's like it's a weird thing because whilst you have this position to be in, like you just have to leverage it. Like if you would in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you would be so disheartened with yourself if you kind of didn't approach it with the obsessive mentality.
Of course, 100%. And, even when I have my bad days, I try to remind myself of that. You're in a position where a lot of people would love to be in, and there's ups and downs. Yes, um, there's, um, you have your own, there's a lot of sacrifice involved, but at the same time, like you said, it's by choice, and it's also something that I've been working really hard towards, so
Mm.
I should be happy that I'm going through those, you
Yeah.
know stresses, I guess.
Yeah, it's that
And
typical
it's teaching
that
you a lot, that from yourself too.
dodge.
It doesn't matter what level you're competing at, but like, just getting, going through a preparation, and it's something we put ourselves through. No one pays us to do it. No one holds a gun to our head,
Yeah.
So I think it teaches us. Okay, for me, it's built my character really. Prepare
Yeah.
bodybuilding in general.
Yeah. It's like a weird thing because I said this the other day, like I think I put it as like we said earlier, like the gym's given you everything. Like even when you were 16,
Yeah,
17, 18, the gym's kind of give and now like who would have thought like 5, 10 years later that it's these couple of fucking barbells and dumbbells and shit like that
yeah,
has like honestly giving you a career, it's giving you friendships, relationships, it's giving you everything, like everything you have today.
yeah.
It's like a weird thing, like it's weird to not let it consume you, but it kind of is everything at the same time. It's like a bizarre kind of concept.
I think I used to think that it's consuming my life, and I used to think that as a negative thing. Um, but the last, I'd say, 2 years that I've obviously, like, it's starting paying off, because up until some point it was just a hobby still.
Mm,
um but it was still taking, it was still consuming my life, but now I think of it like, so what if it consumes my life? I enjoy it,
yeah.
So fucking what? Like there's other people that, people may not understand it, but I don't understand how people love going out drinking, it's not something I
Yeah,
would do. I don't enjoy it.
no,
So it's
exactly.
okay for people to not understand what you do. Even my own family doesn't really understand,
No, exactly.
my
And
obsession with it.
it's no one needs to either. Like like no
No,
one needs to understand. It doesn't matter. Because like, hang on, how old are you?
29.
Okay, so we're the same age, right? So like, so that's the thing as well. It's like it's weird because like what you say, like going to 20, early 20s, going through to like 30 kind of thing. It's that weird thing. Like obviously, like living in Dubai, you think, should I be living this Dubai life? Like, should I be doing this? And then you like say, like, I'm the biggest introvert in the world. I'm literally sat in a basement doing a podcast with someone talking about fucking fitness shit. Do you know what I mean? Just because that's the stuff that I love, and I wouldn't change.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for the
So
world.
what? Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's weird as well because like you say, when you were obsessed with it 4 years ago, everyone would probably be like, oh, like you're quite obsessed, or like maybe like have some balance and maybe do this. But it's weird. But now you're successful and you've achieved things. Now that obsession's a good quality.
Yeah, that's really funny that you're saying that because it's so true. It's so true. Now all of a sudden the you're so obsessed has turned into respect, which is
Yeah,
pretty funny because I tell everyone it doesn't matter what you're obsessed with. If you want to achieve something big, you have to be obsessed with it. Whether
gotcha.
I'm not just obsessed, but like there's no balance when you try to achieve things.
No,
Whether that's getting like a very like a medical degree, for example, or building a house, saving for a house, you have to, you can't have balance with those things. You
no,
won't be able to go out or buy new things and go on holidays all the time if you're saving for a house. You can't go out all the time with your mates if you're studying to become a doctor. You know what I mean? There's always things that you've got to sacrifice, and
mm.
I think balance is overrated.
It's just bullshit, isn't it? It's just the biggest
Yeah,
bullshit that people get said. Like
yeah,
everyone's just been like, "Oh, I'm trying to find my balance." You're like, it doesn't fucking
yeah.
exist. It's like
No, you're just
it's
trying
just
to find your excuses, I say.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. But it's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because everything comes in different moments of your life. Like you say, like, okay, cool. For the next X amount of your years, whilst you can train, whilst you can perform at your best, whilst you can be at your best, that is your form of balance. And then vice versa, when you decide to be like, actually, I'm going to hang my heels up type of thing, like
yeah.
then that will transition into potentially more business stuff. And then you'll be able to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's just this, like, I don't know, it's just this cushy, soft world that we live in right now. And it just doesn't align with me. So I just have a bit more of
I agree.
a,
I agree. And there's nothing wrong with, doing your minding your own business, and it doesn't matter who gets it or who doesn't. People who get it will stick with you, support
yeah,
you, and those who don't will just go their own way. It's
yeah,
fine.
100%. How's
Yeah.
your,
There's
because
and there's
everyone,
also Hmm?
no, go, all you.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say there's also a lot of people that will follow you because they get inspired by you. There's those who will be like, "Oh, she's so obsessed. I can't deal with that." But there's also those people who, you can be their saving grace. There's people who
Mm,
there's girls who have messaged me and they were like, if it wasn't for this post that you made or for that, I was about to give up or I was about to, this is so beautiful when you receive messages like that. It just makes you understand what your purpose is, I guess.
yeah, yeah, 100%. And honestly, that's the selfish reason. Like I started doing this podcast, to be completely honest. It's like, number one, it's selfish because I get to talk to people that I like and that inspire me.
Yeah.
But also as well, it's like amazing how many people like, especially with long form content nowadays, like it's hard to find because otherwise people just see you from a real 30-second story. They don't get to know
Yeah.
you. They don't get to know anything about you. They have no concept that we sat here for an hour and they just
Mm,
like and they get to see like a raw thing because I don't edit anything. So it's literally just like
okay.
everything we said now just gets uploaded. Like
Perfect. I like that.
so, but yeah, that's it. And then you might again, like there'll be plenty of girls that watch this and think like, oh, like she is fucking normal. Because like
Yeah.
obviously because obviously
It
on
doesn't get
Instagram,
more normal.
no, exactly. Because obviously
Yeah.
on like on social media, you're good because I won't ever have someone on that isn't transparent. But like the truth is we all show our highlight reels. That's just the reality of it. So like if there's something
Yeah.
going on in my personal life, like why the fuck would I share that on social media, right? But then
Yeah.
they understand from listening to something long form where like, okay, she does struggle, she does have these things, she does like have family that still don't understand too much to this day, like just like me, type of thing.
Hmm.
So no, it's good. It's good that you can have a voice and say it. No, so I love it. I love it. That's awesome, love. No, good on you.
Yeah. I'm really, I don't like posting about my personal stuff on social media because I don't, even though I like being transparent, I also like being positive, like I want to be a positive influence. So when I feel more like my negative
Yeah,
version of my negative self, I will be a little bit more quiet. But when I talk to people, or if someone asks me something, I'll be an open book and I will talk about whatever. I don't. And I think that's a really important thing to show people that we're the same.
yeah,
The
yeah,
only
100%.
difference is I just do bodybuilding on top of like the normal life.
Normal, the normal life. Yeah. How's
Yeah.
I won't keep you for too much longer, but how's because everyone talks about environment. How's the environment around you at the moment? Obviously, like it seems like you've got a good little clique, obviously at home and stuff like that. Like, how's the environment there? And have you got like people coming out to with the shows with you and stuff like that?
So no, but I do have, luckily, I've now that I've competed a few times overseas, I've made friends everywhere. So
Yeah.
so I will have friends over there,
Yes.
and that I'll be staying with as well for some time. Um, but yeah, I have a very small circle and I prefer that. I choose
Yeah.
that. And I also try, I don't know if that's a good idea that I'm saying that. I try to stay out of the bodybuilding, you
Yeah. Yeah.
know, scene. Like I don't have many friends, as in, I do talk to a lot of people and I do have friends in that sense, but like not super close friends that are from the
Yeah.
industry, or at least not many.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, very small circle. I do like to isolate myself a little bit when I'm in prep.
Yeah.
Like I will talk to most of my friends, on the phone or online or social media. I won't catch up with many people often. I just try to
Yeah.
just be focused. I don't know if that's a good thing. It's just how I get through it.
No, but like we said
um,
earlier, it's who you are as well. Like I'm the same. Like I'm very much like
yeah,
I'm just a bit of an introvert. Like I enjoy
I'm
my
an
own
introvert
time.
too. Yeah.
Like I enjoy my
Mm.
own company. I enjoy my own time. Like I don't need I'm I'm just a dick now as well. Like I'm like if I'm gonna meet you for coffee, it has to be like a person that I'm gonna
Close
get
to
value.
me.
Yeah, like that someone that I'm gonna get value from.
True.
Like
Yeah, same.
like if
I've
I'm
said
gonna
I don't leave my postcode for anyone. I'm
yeah,
only for a couple of people.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if I'm gonna sit and have an hour with someone, it has to be so worth it. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I always, honestly, like I've done that. We've all done it, right? You go out or you see something like, I would have rather just been home, sat on the sofa, having some oats.
100%. 100%. Yeah,
So, no, good on you, my love. Good on you. So, you fly out in next week, next Thursday, right? Or next
Tuesday.
Wednesday? Okay, Tuesday. And then where are you flying into again?
I'm flying into New York, and I'll be staying in New Jersey for a while. Not
Yeah.
for a while, for a couple of weeks, and then I'm going for my show in Washington, first show, and
Okay, cool. Cool.
then take it from there. It's kind of like in the air, I don't know exactly what the plan is after the first show. I
Yeah.
mean, I do have a couple of shows that I've got in mind.
Yeah.
But I'll
Yeah.
see how the
Just
first one goes and take it from there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
100%.
kind of open.
If you qualify the first time, will you do a couple more, or would you think you'll call it
I
quits?
will still do at least one more, maybe
Good.
two.
Cool.
More purely for the reason, just it's good to be seen and get your name out there more. They love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the main reason. Hopefully, I take it the first one and then I
Yeah.
just go into the next ones,
Just
just
enjoy.
chill, you know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
enjoy it.
100%.
That'd be beautiful. But you never know. We'll see.
Yeah, and narrow down the space as well,
Once,
because then if you win the second and third, it eliminates two other women, so it's perfect.
I mean, that would be amazing. The big shows, the ones I've chosen,
Yeah,
so
of
I
course.
don't know what to expect. I really don't know the lineups at all. So
Yeah, well, you don't know until a week before, right? Until the list comes out. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
Well, it's okay. We'll still have, we're still
yeah,
going there with a mindset to win,
good. Yeah,
and
fuck yeah, 100%.
that's it.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
like you know you belong up there, and it's like you say, you don't know who's going to be stood next to you. You could go to Texas and cool. The top 10 from the last
Look,
O were all stood next to you. Who
it's
knows?
that's right. It's normal to think like that, and it's normal to, be worried, I guess. But at the same time, you gotta think that so do the other competitors. That those competitors are thinking the same about me. So it's normal. I think it's a normal headspace to be in. So I try to normalize that as much as I try not to look.
Yeah.
Um, I also try to normalize. It means a lot to me. So feeling a little bit of stress and a little bit of pressure is pushing me. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
As long as I don't let that consume me.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We always need that little bit of anxiousness and worry and things like that because that's the thing
Of
that
course.
fucking forces you to get up every day. So yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
Well,
Nah,
we
awesome.
put a lot into it. I mean, it's not easy.
No, God no.
So, yeah.
How far is it from yours to New York?
Um, I think it's about 24 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you stop over?
Painful.
Yeah.
There is a stopover. I can't remember where. Um, I think I think the stopover is domestic in Australia, and then I'm going straight to New York, if I'm not wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. That's all
yeah, I
right.
could be wrong though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I go to Australia probably twice a year now, and even from here it's 14 hours. And that's
Oh, it
halfway.
is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
wow.
Dubai's 14 to Brisbane.
Yeah, that's long. I didn't know that. Mm.
Yeah. So then,
Yeah.
because obviously from me being from the UK originally, it's my family live in Perth, and that's it's a 24-hour travel
Yeah,
just to go from like London.
it's
So
it's
yeah,
hectic. Look, I won't lie to you. I'm really considering moving, um, purely for the reason of competing.
yeah,
It's just killing me. I can't
yeah,
do it.
yeah, yeah,
It's killing me.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Come to the Dubai. You're in the middle of the world, so you can go wherever you want from there.
It's true. You're not far from America. How far is it? Oh, Europe.
Um, oh, Europe's easy. When we were in Romania, that's
Mhm.
4.5, 5.
Well, that's nothing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's right, because I fly to Dubai when I go to Europe because we go.
It's a big
Is
stopover.
it with
So,
with Emirates or I don't know?
yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
like from Brisbane, when we come back, like going into your winter, everyone's leaving to go to Europe for summer,
Mm.
and it's just full the flight, and everyone gets transitions from Dubai and then gets the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
flight to
yeah.
Europe. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, there you go.
I'll
So no,
consider that. That'd be a good idea.
you can do a prep bit. You can come here for 3 months with no strings attached. You don't need so you're good.
Yeah, sweet. I'll think about it. The only thing is I've got a dog, so whatever I do, I've got to, you know,
Mm,
either yeah, it's tough because then if I want to come back, you can't bring the animals back in easily.
yeah, we
So
looked at that because obviously Steph took her little Frenchie.
yeah, I've seen,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like going back, it's not too bad, but you have to start the process of like vaccinations like a couple of months earlier. And then
Yeah.
it's 10 days quarantine when you get back to Australia, I think.
Oh, it used to be a month when we moved
Yeah,
with my family because
yeah,
we had dogs in Greece that we brought over, and it used to
yeah,
be a month, a whole
yeah.
month. Yeah.
That's what I remember when my dad moved to Australia. I remember it the same sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's 10 days now. Because obviously like in Dubai, there isn't like she landed and literally just gets brought to your front door
Yeah.
that morning. Yeah. So
Hmm.
but yeah, there you go. The office there. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I will let you crack on and probably get another meal in because I know it's needed.
Thanks for having
Um,
me. That was great chat.
I will steal you for one other thing because this is
Mhm.
the 1% podcast. What is that one tip? What is that one thing that you can inspire someone or tell someone to take them that extra step further tomorrow?
In life in general or in what are
Anything,
you doing?
anything you want.
Um, just um stay true to yourself no matter what, no matter what path you're following or um who's around you or how much publicity or fame you may have. Just stay true to yourself and your values and live by that, and the rest will come to you.
Amazing. I love it. No, it's perfect, love. Thank you so much for your time. I know, obviously,
You're very
it,
welcome. Thank you.
thank you so much, my love.